Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Riot 5 and Mean Streets. This album's been delayed at least twice, I believe. And I believe it's through good sales from the album. So they wanted to release the physical media, I think, at the same time as the streaming release. But I think the album sold so well, so I heard, that they had to keep delaying it. Well, that's a good thing for metal, isn't it? That's an amazing thing. So 12 songs, 52 minutes long. This was released on May the 10th on Atomic Fire Records, the 17th studio album from this American metal band. The debut was brought out in 1977. The last album was Armor of Light. I haven't been a follower of this band, and I know that probably seems like, you know, a sin or whatever you want to call it, because I haven't. It's just one of those things, you know. It's just one of those bands that I never picked up on when I was younger, and I never did it in later life either. So I'm here now reviewing this album from this band that's had many lineup changes, I believe. I mean, I did a couple of reactions to the songs off this album leading up to this album. I saw a comment about, you know, it's not the same band, it's a disgrace and they shouldn't be together. And I don't know about that, man. If a band wants to release music, if some of the members have been with the band for a long time, I can't see a problem with that altogether. And we get great music from this excellent band, because this album is fire. It really is. I want to talk about the people in the band first. We got Todd Michael Hall on vocals. I love Todd Michael Hall. I've got to say, his voice is outstanding. He's got one of these vocals that with ease, he can just, the heights he can reach, his range is just amazing. And it's got that power as well. He can have that power at heights, and then he sounds really good in the lower range. You know, some vocalists who can sing at that higher range, when they drop into the lower range, he ain't got that warmth. He's got a warmth to his vocals. I love the way he sort of pronounces words, the way he sings. He's got some great pronunciation in his vocals. He's got a great vocal. And then you've got Mike Flintz and Nick Lee on the guitars. This is guitar, guys. Honestly, it's brilliant. And I love that. You know, you haven't got keyboards flooding this album. It's a straight up metal album in your face with just guitar as much as you want. It's fucking brilliant, and to a standard that is unbelievable. There's just solos just on here that just blow your mind. It's just riffing, there's chugging, there's just twin leads. This is enough guitar for anyone, I believe. You got Don Van Staven on the bass and Frank Gilchrist on the drums. I've got to say, you know, and a lot of this is to do with the mix and the production on this album. That production really showcases the rhythm section, which, you know, when I usually, when I listen to an album, I'm listening to vocals, I'm listening to guitars. Sometimes I don't hone in enough probably on the rhythm section of a band. Well, there's no choice here. I think it's right up front and center. It's not drowning anything out, by the way. The production is just one of the best I've heard. But you get to hear the complexity, especially of the drum work, and the bass is just outstanding. A massive part of this band. There is a lovely sort of warmth to this album. Clarity, pops, every instrument pops. One of the best productions, I believe, I've heard this year. This band, if you don't know them, and like I said, I'm not an expert, by the way, they dive into traditional metal, a bit of speed metal, slight bit of power metal on a few tracks. So yeah, this is a great album with a spotless production. We've already great albums as well. We've had some brilliant albums by some classic heavy metal bands this year. You've had Judas Priest, you've had Saxon, and I think Riot 5 have more than matched those albums. And to tell you the truth, I might even enjoy this one a little bit more than them great albums that have already come out this year. The one thing I must say, this album, out of those three, if we're going to compare, and it's a nice year to compare some great bands that, you know, classic bands that have come back this year. This is the most memorable, easily, out of all three. The hooks and the melodies and the choruses a massive on every single song on this album. So man, this was well worth the wait of, you know, might have been delayed and it was a bit frustrating, but I've got to say, what a great album. I've got one tiny little gripe. I feel like 12 songs, 52 minutes is a little bit much. I think maybe 1 or 2 songs could have come off of this. I wouldn't know which ones to pull off of it, to tell you the truth, because they're all great. But I just feel, you know, it's a little bit too long. And I know that's a weird complaint. Sometimes I think it's a weird complaint, but it's just one of those things. So let's talk about the tracks, guys. How to the Warriors starts this off. It's a really fast track. Short intro, spoken words, and a thrashy riff kicks in, and Todd's vocals just come at you. What we have is a great metal track with some power metal traits, I would say. It's frenetic, it's blistering. I love the way the chorus is sort of backed up by some great double kick drum work. Let's not forget the solo. You can't forget the solos on this album. This is the first one. We get sort of Mike Flints and Nick Lee kick absolute arse as they sort of shred and switch around and they play some Twin Lee stuff. Outstanding stuff for the first track. Then we move on to Feel the Fire. This was a single. I love this track. It's a great metal track, pulling some cool Priest influence in. Love the vocal melodies in this song as well, so catchy. And when you have Todd Michael Hall as your vocalist, he can sing anything. So, you know, some of those vocal melodies are brought on by Todd Michael Hall and the way he can just hit any range at all. A cool medium-paced slab of heavy metal that has a great groove and melody. An addictive track. Love Beyond the Grave is the next track. Love this one as well. This was a single. It has a real dark, sort of brooding feel to it. And, you know, the title of the track, and it has sort of this horror vibe running through it. The riffs sort of bob and weave while Todd Michael Hall powers his way to a cool gang vocal chorus. One of the many standout tracks on this album. High Noon is the next track. Another single. This was the first single, I believe. The band hit the accelerator with this one. It's sort of going to this speed metal groove. The intricacy with the guitar work is just jaw-dropping on this song. The solo sections are amazing as the 2 guitarists show their chops again, and then with a cool twin lead solo which would just please any guitar nut out there. Relentless and melodic as hell. Before This Time is the next song I want to talk about. This is such a catchy track, man. I love this one. Again, a slight power metal feel to it. Almost has a feel-good feeling as well to it, but the guitars are right up in the mix. Don't worry, it's not a pop song, it's definitely metal. Brilliant songwriting in this, as you hear the thought that was gone into the vocal melodies when they were written, just as you humming along well after you've finished listening to it. Higher is the next track. I almost felt like it had an instrumental feel to it when it first started in the intro. Then it goes full speed ahead, almost like a classic Maiden track at times. New wave of British heavy metal feels here, for sure. What this band are really good at, and it shows in this song, is keeping melody really constantly. You know, no matter how heavy or fast and frenetic a track is, an energetic, fast-paced rocker. Mean Streets is the next track. This is the latest single. A great song. New wave of British heavy metal feel for me continues as the band hit a classic metal galloping groove. Todd Michael Hall just showing his range in another catchy chorus that just soars to the heavens. Energy sort of seems like it ramps up as the song goes on, and we are left with an outstanding title track. Open Road is the next track I want to talk about. The band really hit hardest for me in tracks like this, where they slow it down a little bit. They really exceed. Cool medium pace song that sees Todd Michael Hall sort of spitting out those melodic vocal lines over a cool sort of stuttering riff. They really hit their stride here, and another catchy chorus, which is one of the hookiest choruses on an album full of hooky choruses. And the last track I want to talk about is the last track on the album, Lean Into It. This one has so much groove. It really does. It has a sort of bluesy metal edge to it. It's cool to hear them sort of break away from the true metal feel that they had for most of the album and go into this bluesy sort of side. It does mix up those bluesy parts though with some sort of faster, chuggy metal moments too. It's a great track to end this excellent album. So guys, Riot 5, Mean Streets. Let me know if you're going to get it. Obviously, a lot of people have been waiting for this album. Let me know what you think of it now in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.